Hello, friends. This is Jinbees, and welcome to the first installment of our newest segment, EGL History. I kind of want to take time to cover a lot of the historical stuff and the historical side of our community, not just the fashion itself. So that way, people who are new to the fashion, they didn't have a chance to experience it, will know about it. It also creates some good nostalgia for those who were around during that time. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So we're going to go ahead and start with a PowerPoint presentation. So the first topic I'm going to cover is a brief history of the EGL Livejournal community, just because that was such a big part in the creation of the Lolita community as a whole. So we'll go ahead and dive into that. There we go. So, a brief history of the EGL community presented by moi, Jinbees. So, the year 2000 was actually when the EGL Livejournal community was established. The user Moonful of Stars was the one who created it. It was originally created as a one-stop shop for Westerners to discuss all things Lolita related. The Western community wasn't established very well at that point, so we were lucky if we would get like one post a day, if even. And those posts would consist of everything from making and planning meats, selling and buying, posting photos of your coordinates, things like that, which a lot of those later did branch out into different communities. I'll cover that in a little bit. Daily Lolita technically was created in 2001, which, if you don't know, was a community created specifically to share Lolita coordinates. It's now been replaced by Closet of Frills on Facebook, so if you've been in that community, same concepts. So it was created in 2001, but it was not actually utilized very much until way later. This little photo I have up here, this is actually like the first post that's still on the EGL Livejournal community from like the very beginning. A lot of you know this person. She's the creator of Lily of the Valley. So she's actually still around. She was like the first person to post on here. So I thought that was kind of neat. This photo is actually one of the photos from the previous post that Lily of the Valley created. So Lolita meets back in the day looked completely different than they do today. A lot of stuff would be considered like Ida by today's standards. But this is pretty normal. Like, a lot of clothing was very hard to get a hold of, especially Japanese brands. So a lot of people made their own clothes or made do with what they had. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in there to give people an idea of what meats used to look like compared to, obviously, y'all know what they look like today. This photo, a lot of Lolita related content would get posted on EGL. So this is just a funny post that someone had made. They saw this moving truck named Mana. And so this is a lot of what kind of progressed into like Lolita memes and the stuff that would get posted on Lolita Secrets, Behind the Bows, stuff like that. It was just dumb, funny content that you wouldn't really get unless you were in the fashion. So early 2000s, in 2003, the EGL community finally started to pick up. It would reach up to about 20 posts a day. It definitely saw an increase. Within the years after that, there was more that would get up to like 40 something a day. But this is where it really started to pick up. In 2004, the So Lolly Live Journal community was established, dedicated to those that wanted to make their own Lolita pieces, especially since it was hard to get brand. And so it would just be like a community to discuss patterns, prints, things like that when you were interested in making your own clothes. or accessories. 2005 finally saw the creation of the EGL sales. That was dedicated solely to sales for Lolita-related pieces. At that point, EGL had gotten so blocked up with sales posts, like they would happen too often. So finally, they're like, no, we need another community for this. So EGL sales finally broke off, and that would separate the sales portion of the community from the social portion of the community. And 2007 was the beginning of an era. You know what era I'm talking about. I know what era I'm talking about. This was the rise of OTT Suite. So this was like the very beginning of OTT Suite. This is when Daily Lolita began to kind of boom. This is when it began to boom. So people would actually start posting. They would get like tons of posts a day. Obviously, with the boom of Lolita fashion also came the boom of drama. So CGL was added to 4chan mid-2006. Get Off EGL was established in 2007, which was like the drama community on Livejournal. And then Lolly Secrets happened in 2008, which Lolly Secrets did end up getting deleted, but Behind the Bows would later replace that. And then, of course, OTT Suite began with iconic prints like Toy Parade and Strawberry Millefeuille. Strawberry Millefeuille. And so this is just like an example of the kind of posts you would see on Daily Lolita. People would basically have a cut and they'd post like groups of photos from the last few months or the last year, however often you wanted to post. It definitely wasn't as big to just post like one outfit per post. So people would kind of build them up and then post them all at once. Though it wasn't unheard of only posting one. It was just the format and how it was kind of done. The early 2010s, by 2010, there was a community that was created for just about anything Lolita related on Livejournal. So if you were disabled in a Lolita, there was a separate community. If you were a Angelic Pretty fan, there was a separate community, which the separate communities weren't as popular as just the people who would congregate on EGL, but if you had like specific mindsets or specific beliefs, things like that, there was a community where you could go to discuss that with other people. In 2011, that was the start of the infamous wardrobe posts. So that was the theme for January in 2011. And it was so popular that year that they continued to do it. And it's now been happening for 10 years and people are still going. So that's my little meme there. Making wardrobe posts is a lot of work. I'm just gonna tell you that now. And 2012 was the fall of Lolly Secrets. It did get deleted as a community, so a lot of those the like old secrets and stuff have disappeared. But Behind the Bows was created to replace it, and that is still going. There's mixed feelings about Behind the Bows, mostly because there are a lot of posts that make fun of people in the community, but it was originally created to make like dumb, funny memes, like stuff like this. So it did kind of have that whole controversy behind it, but with the death of Livejournal, in the community on Livejournal, it's kind of disappeared, or the secrets have kind of disappeared with it. So they'll still have posts, but instead of 40 secrets a week, it's like 5. So this is just like a fraction of what you would see. There's a master list of all the Lolita communities. I can certainly link it if you guys are interested in looking at it. But these are like general communities. There would also be ones separate for like different regions, like the Colorado Lolita community even had their own Livejournal group as well. And so there would be stuff like that. There would be brand specific for Meta, Angelic Pretty, all those. This is just to kind of give you an idea. There's just about anything. If you're Lolita and you have a separate interest, you would likely find a community for it. And speaking of those meme posts that you would find on Behind the Bows and Lolita Secrets, this is the kind of comedic gold that really we were all missing out on. I'll tell you all a secret. This was one of the only secrets I've ever made. It was during the rise of chocolate prints. You guys would remember, like, Milky Fawn from Deerstalkers. She would collect just about every AP chocolate print she could find. So, because so many chocolate prints had come out, I went and looked up every single one on the library and created this. So, that's my infamous post that nobody ever knew about. But it was the face of Lolita humor until that kind of died off. And I don't know who this bodybuilder is, but this is hilarious. Some chocolate themed good humor for you guys. This is the kind of stuff we like to see on Lolita Secrets. And then with the rise of other social media such as Facebook and Tumblr and stuff, we of course see the decline of the Livejournal community. So 2014 showed a significant drop in posts as the community transitioned over to Tumblr, Facebook, and now Instagram. Between like 1 to 5 posts a day was the usual, as opposed to like the 20 plus it had seen in its prime. Wardrobe posts continue to be popular, of course. I mean, they still are 10 years later. So January is the most active month that the Livejournal scene would see at this point in time. 2017 was roughly like 3 posts a month. Other than the wardrobe posts, obviously, the rest of the months of the year was very slow. And then 2018 could be considered the true death of the Livejournal community, hitting 1 post a month if lucky. And even then, the wardrobe posts would drop to about 2 a day as opposed to the 10 that it had been. A lot of people still do the wardrobe posts, they just move to a different platform, like on their Instagram, their blogs, their Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So the wardrobe posts are still happening, just they've kind of migrated from the Livejournal. As far as the Livejournal community for EGL, that about wraps it up. If you guys have like specific eras that you're interested in knowing more about, or even if you want to know, it doesn't have to be about Livejournal. If you want to know about specific eras in the EGL community as a whole, you're welcome to submit them via any of our social media. You can see them down at the bottom. So if you want to know more about things like the Tumblr community or things like that, you're welcome to submit requests. We'll be doing a series on these, so we'll throw some more out there. But if there's anything specific you want to hear, let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when we're going on. And We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. And hopefully, we will see you guys at our Mystical Tea Garden event coming up next month. Until then.